So a lot bigger than last time you saw it, huh? This is the third and final installment of the coiled basket making how-to video series I've done for my school through at Trees School of Natural Living. I found a different grass. I learned a lot from making this basket, a lot about this process and probably baskets in general. I found this other much finer grass. You remember that when I started, I'll hold it up, you can see that. When I started this, I used some very coarse stuff, which was long and made it nice to work with. Since then, I've changed to this much finer grass, which is making a nicer looking, you can see on the sides, a nicer looking basket. And I think tighter. When I pull the string through where the knot is, it's hard to pull, which makes me think that it's making it much tighter. Now the bottom isn't made of that, so it might, I don't know that this one's really going to hold water. Probably not. But I think I could in the future make one that would. So I'm going to soon I'm going to show you how I finish. I'm going to do like the rim, and then we're going to put the handle on. Before we do that, I want to share with you a few things that I learned along the way. I searched out some options for cordage, something you'd find in the woods or a field or somewhere. This is bittersweet nightshade. I think you could, I know in certain places this grows rampant. So it'd be easy to gather plenty of this. And these are kind of dried. They're still pretty flexible, half dry maybe. And you see they get down pretty fine, and even dried they will bend pretty tight. That did snap there, but didn't really snap, it actually kind of folded. So damp, I think that wouldn't be a problem at all to get it to bend tightly to take the place of the string. Also, the bark of this is very fibrous. It makes great cordage itself. So if you had to, you could just use this for those tightest wraps near the beginning or in smaller sections, or maybe just this altogether without the woody part. I don't think that'd be necessary though. I also have some elm bark here. It's not even in season. It's for like the second or third day of May right now, and peeling time for this kind of tree is until June. But the branches peeled pretty well. This was from a dead tree, or a tree that was cut, and actually it was probably cut weeks ago. It peeled right off, and some of these are quite long. This piece is nearly 6 feet long, well 5 anyway, and they'd be easy to join up, and it took me no time at all. This one tree that had been cut and was laying down, you know, you happen upon a blown over tree, knocked over tree, you could harvest all you would need, even for a big basket like the one I'm making, you know, in a very short time. So what else did I learn? Well, this is the first basket I showed you. It used to have a handle made of grass, which was cool and looked good. I liked the way it looked and the way it was bound to the sides, but it ended up being, this string around it ended up being loose. Just as I think the grass dried out, shrunk a little, and it may have been the way I bound it. And even this is a little looser, but still plenty strong. So I took it off and I replaced it. I replaced it with this. It's on here just like that. This is witch hazel. I bent it green. I carved the ends to fit green. I tied it on the basket green. There are 2 issues with this. You can see this is, pieces are coming off, splinters are coming off. And if you look close, you can see there's these longitudinal cracks. And when you find a standing dead witch hazel, it often has these twisting longitudinal cracks when it dries. This, I think, I tried to dry it very quickly because I was in a rush, and I think that's why I got these because I've used witch hazel for hoops before and I'd never got, at least not this severe. Now it didn't mean that this would be unusable. I could just like get rid of the little splinters. It's still plenty strong for the basket. It's not going to break. And if I really wanted to, I could bind these shut, you know, the cracks or whatever. Not even necessary. The real issue, reason it's not on the basket anymore, is that I tied it to the basket green and then dried it, which made, and I knew this would happen, and I thought I could get away with it, I guess. It meant that this, as it dries, a round stick like this shrinks, and it's this way, in diameter, in circumference. So the bindings holding it on became loose. It became so loose that as I was carrying it along, it just fell right off. So I cut the bindings off there, and I'm probably going to make another. Maybe I'll just replace this, put this back on there. I don't know. I might try a different species to see if it doesn't crack. It'll be another experiment. For the second basket, the big one, I'm going to use this. This is a split piece of birch. Let's see, look at that split. I split it, bent it green. I used a knife to split it and carve it down, but I could have done that. I could have split it with a pointy stick or an antler or a rock with an edge on it. I could have scraped it with a rock. I did end up filing and sanding this with rocks. I used a big boulder that was just the right roughness as like a stationary file, and I rubbed this on it when it was straight. And then after I bent it and there was like little bits sticking out, you know, as it dried, it got harder, and I was able to sand it basically with a rock that wasn't as coarse. It was more sandstone-y. It wasn't really sandstone, but some kind of sedimentary rock that resembles that. And I'm happy with this. It's rough. It's, you know, the bend isn't like the most elegant, but I think it will look good with this basket, the style of basket, and it'll be super functional. And it was a good, you know, a good experiment. So in a moment, I'm going to mount this on here like this. You know, it's a little long, of course, and I'll cut the extra off the bottom right here. Does that work? You see the whole thing? It's a pretty big basket. It's kind of heavy. This stuff is, I have to say, heavy. If I made it thinner walled, I'm sure it'd be a lot lighter. And I might try that with a different material, because I'm not sure that this is really strong enough to be thinner. I don't think it would hold itself together. Maybe. You know, I want to be able to carry, I want to be able to fill this with acorns, or rocks for that matter. So it's pretty bomb-proof right now. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to finish the top edge. I'm going to go around one more time, finish the rim. I'm not going to add any more. I'm done adding material. But if you look close, you can see there's like this stuff sticking out here near the ends. So I'm going to go around again to bind those down, because those will be uncomfortable. Or they'll just break off, but then they'll just keep breaking off. So I'm going to go around one more time with the cordage, and then I'll add the handle. So I measured this up and cut the excess off. I also, you can see my little notches. You see that there? I'm hoping that will help hold the rope on, so this won't go through, won't pull through. You know what, and I think I'm going to make them even more robust. And all this stuff could totally be done with stones just found on the ground. I know some people might live in places that stones are not nearly as abundant as they are here. In New England, we're kind of known for having rocks all over the place. But find, you know, any kind of moving water, and you'll probably find some stones in the bottom. You'll probably find some that can break to a sharp edge. You don't really even need that because you can use it more like a rasp or a file. Most of this kind of work would be done that way. You don't want the edges to cut the string. There we go. So the bottom of this, if you remember, started square, and I got the top around, which is exactly what I wanted to do. There's some lumps. It's not like super duper elegant, but it's pretty impressive. So I need to line this up with the square bottom, or it'll look really dumb if I don't. And that looks about right. So I'm going to move the camera because I have to do this on the ground, I think. Perfect. So basically sew this on. Start from the inside. Actually, I'm going to do it before, yeah, start from the inside. A little excess there. Make sure I have this centered. I'm not sure that I do. Oops. So I'm going to tie this. Do 2.5 inches there. Push that tight. And that's just to hold the end. I'm going to go double check here. Actually, I do want that over a tiny bit. I can't see up there. Now, I'm actually going to cross. So, all the strength, all the fibers, the grass fibers, right, run this way. So if I put stitches right next to each other, they might just come in together and there may not actually be anything there holding them. So the strength in these stitches is by spacing them in this direction, just like the stitches I've been making so far. So to do that here, I'm making diagonals. I put a few horizontal, and then I make some diagonal stitches, which is what I'm going to start to do now. So it's hard to see my stitch placement this way, but this is the easiest way for me to work. See that? I'm making a slight diagonal, and I'm going to make a cross. That's what it looks like so far with those X's. And then you can continue with X's up to the top. And then when I get there, I'll come back to you and show you how I lash it along the rim. That's where I'm at right there. Now I'm going to attach it along here, and I think I'm going to actually cut a couple more notches in the handle right there to help with the load. So I'm going to take this, come over the top, and go around like this, and then back through. So this is some kind of basic lashing, you know, ideas here. I learned most of my lashing stuff from the old, get that string to actually land in the notches, from my father's Boy Scout manual from the 60s. I was really good with that kind of thing. So, gotten through here, been around once. I'm gonna go, let's see. I don't want to go like this yet. Yes, I will. I'm gonna come around from here and go back through to the back. And that will help hold, there, you can see that. Back through here. And in, it will help really hold this all quite tight. Alright, I found what hopefully is a better angle. You can actually watch me work. So again, I want to come up here and around, back down. I'm going to go down a little lower than the last one. So we have, yeah, way down. There we go. So I have a good bite. And back through like that. And through here. Seems like you can see what I'm doing. If my arm gets in the way, oops. All right. I'm going to continue coming up around here like so. Can you see that? Ooh, you may not be able to see anything I'm doing. How's that? Up around here like so. I'm going to stitch in through the back there. See that? And come out pretty low, lower than I did before. Came out around there somewhere because I want a better bite on the material. And I'm going to push this underneath the other ones. And then I go back like this. Can you see that there? Oh, I hope so. There you go. And this back in here. But this time, I'm going to move down a tiny bit. So I'm not always going through the same hole. Can you see that? That looks pretty darn tight right there. Finish it off and put it back in the ground. Finish it off, I'll do a couple, maybe just one last horizontal stitch right here. And you see in there? And this part, you know, someone else might have a better method, I don't know. I'm going to tie it. It's hard to get the needle to like sew in here because it's concave. I'm going to tie it off to the other parts of the same string. Maybe that knot does not want to go through. There we are. Getting this tight is always tough. If anybody does know a better way, or figures out a better way to do this, let me know. This is just a lot of fiddling, and I'm never quite happy with how tight. Yeah, see, that's not tight enough. Never quite happy with how tight my string is at the end. Alright, good enough. I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. So I finished just in time. The sun went down, mosquitoes are out. Robin's looking for a place to sleep for the night. And my basket's done. Show you some close-ups here, some details. I stitched up that side. That one. Handle's all attached. It feels quite rugged. Extra grass in there. Sturdy. A little over here, you can see it better. I'm pretty happy with it. It's heavy for a basket, you know, like a split black ash basket would weigh not much more than this handle does. And there's lots of other ways to make baskets that would be a lot lighter. This, I think, is a good bruiser, though. I'm pretty sure I could put it through a lot of abuse and it'll hold together. And I made it with what I had, which is even cooler. Like I said, you could easily replace the string I used with all kinds of other natural cordage. And this technology, the Coiled Basket weaving technology, using the grass in this way, could turn into all kinds of things. Some of the kids I'm teaching this to at work are making sleeping mats out of doing the same thing, just flat. They just keep going around and around like a rug on the those old like rag rugs are made in that exact same way. One of the students is making a quiver, which I think is really cool. Which is a long tube, obviously. And one of my longtime students made a hat. It looks like a flat-brimmed cowboy hat kind of thing. With this, it weighs a ton, especially when it's wet. But with finer material, you could, I think, get it thinner and lighter, and you could easily make hats or other things like that. So anyway, here's the basket finished. So if you liked this video, you like learning about making baskets, please subscribe to my channel. I have all kinds of other how-to stuff, a lot of tracking. There's a bow drill fire making video, knife sharpening, all kinds of cool things, and there'll be more to come. And if you're in the Northeast and you want to take a class with me, you can go to www.3redtrees, all one word, all spelled out, 3redtrees.com. Check out our calendar. We have all kinds of classes in primitive living, bushcraft, survival skills, wild edible plants, a lot of tracking, especially in the wintertime, and nature awareness. So please check out our website, look at my other videos, like and subscribe, and thank you for your time.